Hello everyone! In football, scoring a goal is always a moment of joy. But sometimes, in order to score, players have to take a risk. And unfortunately, the human body doesn't always withstand it. Today, I will tell you about goals that were scored at the cost of tears, blood, pain, and injuries. Santos Laguna's player Javier Orozco scored a brace against Toluca, but he did not leave the field in a joyful mood. While scoring his second goal, Orozco brilliantly got away from the defense and chipped the goalkeeper. However, as he was sending the ball into the net, he was pushed by an opponent and crashed headfirst into the goalpost. Orozco was immediately substituted, and his goals remained the only ones in that match. Exact details of his injury are unknown, but looking at the footage, it's hard to believe he escaped without a concussion. But we didn't only gather visible injuries. For example, Grêmio's player Diego Souza hit the ball so hard from a free kick in a match against Flamengo that he couldn't continue the game. Beauty comes at a price. The Brazilian scored a stunning goal from 30 meters but pulled his hamstring in the process. A hamstring strain happens when the muscles at the back of the thigh are overstretched or torn. The pain is sharp and it becomes difficult to run or even walk properly. Severe cases can take weeks or even months to heal. This is a moment that most of you probably remember. Cristiano Ronaldo in a match against Deportivo scored a brace, but the second goal came at a painful price. The forward suffered a deep cut on his eyebrow while scoring. However, this only proved how determined CR7 really is. A deep eyebrow cut can bleed heavily due to the rich blood supply in that area. Players often require stitches to close the wound, but it rarely keeps them off the pitch for long, especially someone as driven as Ronaldo. Andrei Todovitsky secured his team's 4-1 victory in the final moments of the match with a backheel shot. However, this strike cost him 2 weeks on the sidelines. While attempting the shot, the Desna player not only earned praise from teammates, but also suffered a muscle strain. Muscle strains occur when the fibers of a muscle are stretched beyond their limits. The player may feel sharp pain, swelling, and limited movement in the affected area. Depending on the severity, recovery can take days to weeks. At first, it seemed like Real Madrid's away match against Sevilla started well. In the 22nd minute, Sergio Ramos scored a spectacular bicycle kick goal from a corner, putting Los Blancos ahead. However, the beauty comes at a price rule applied once again. Ramos injured his shoulder and couldn't continue the game. Without him, Madrid's defense suffered and they lost 3-2. After all, Real Madrid without Ramos is just not the same team. Ramos dislocated his shoulder, a painful injury that occurs when the upper arm bone pops out of the shoulder socket. Doctors strongly recommended surgery, as repeated dislocations could weaken the joint permanently. However, Ramos delayed surgery to keep playing, despite the high risk. Footballers often collide with goalkeepers, even when scoring goals. Perth Glory's player Ivan Franjic helped his team win against Western Sydney Wanderers, but he crashed into the keeper, who did not forgive him for the goal. Franjic could not continue the game after his moment of triumph. A similar situation happened to Sydney FC's forward Siem de Jong, a former Ajax and Netherlands national team player. First, the defender played very dirty. He clearly knew he wouldn't get to the ball. Second, just look at how de Jong jumped. It seems like someone was controlling him and hit the jump button at the worst possible moment. Speaking of buttons, dear viewers, you can also press something, preferably the subscribe button below this video. Real Madrid's defender Antonio Rüdiger scored a crucial last-minute goal in the Champions League when Los Blancos were trailing Shakhtar Donetsk. His header found the net, but at a cost. He collided headfirst with Shakhtar's goalkeeper. As a result, Rüdiger had to wear a protective mask in the following matches, and without it, his face looked severely bruised for weeks. Head collisions like this can lead to deep cuts, fractures, or even concussions. Rüdiger's wound required stitches, and such injuries often cause swelling, making it painful to move facial muscles. RB Leipzig's defender Marcel Halstenberg doesn't score often, but in a 2017 match against Hertha Berlin, he did, though he probably wished he hadn't. His goal didn't help Leipzig get points, and while scoring, he fell awkwardly and broke his arm in 3 places. At least the goal turned out quite nice. A 3-place fracture means the bone broke in multiple spots, making recovery more complex. Halstenberg had to undergo surgery, and his arm was immobilized for months before he could return to full training. Watching Diego Costa crash into the goalpost in a match against Getafe makes you feel sorry for even such a notorious dirty player. In the final minutes, Costa tapped in a cross from Adrian, but in doing so, painfully kissed the post. Atletico's forward was immediately substituted, but he set the final score at 2-0. Sometimes it's not the footballer who suffers in a collision with the goalpost. Mjällby striker Jakob Bergström, scoring against Östersund, hit the post so hard that it looked like he was about to snap in half. Yet, Bergström got up as if nothing had happened and started celebrating his goal. However, Östersund's goalpost was far less happy. It got bent. By the way, football has seen shots powerful enough to bend the goal frame. If you want to see them and find out what would happen if a similar shot hit you, check out this video here. Well, we'd like to wrap things up with an injury that happened during a goal, only this time, an own goal. By the way, we've also made a video about own goals, so feel free to check it out. Real Madrid defender Rafael Varane experienced this painful moment in the 2019 Copa del Rey semi-final against Barcelona. Los Blancos were already suffering a crushing 0-3 home defeat, but the Frenchman added his own personal misery to the team's struggle. In the 69th minute, while trying to block Ousmane Dembele's cross, Varane accidentally sent the ball into his own net, injuring his knee in the process. Ouch.